So Fred sounds really good. Mr. Durst sounds really good, but something struck me about this part the first time I heard it, and I didn't consciously understand it until I pulled up the lyrics, and it's because it seems a little weird. He's saying, wish I had a blank, wish I was a blank, wish I gave a blank, but I don't. I mean, obviously he's saying fuck, right? So it's like, wish I had a fuck, wish I gave a fuck. Like, that all makes sense. But it was that middle line, wish I was a fuck. It's a little, I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard anyone ever say, wish I was a fuck. I don't even know what that means. And it's kind of like a weird line where I'm like, why didn't he say like, wish there was a fuck or something? And he's like, wish I had a fuck, wish there was a fuck, wish I gave a fuck, but I don't. Instead, it's like, wish I had a fuck, wish I was a fuck, wish I gave a fuck. It's like, I don't know what you're going for. What does that line mean? And again, I know that seems very nitpicky, but like, you got 3 lines, man, 4 lines. Wish I had a, wish I was a, wish I gave a, but I don't. You got 4 lines. You can't make them make sense. And like, has anybody, like, if you're listening to this and you disagree and you're like the song, ask yourself, have you ever heard anyone say, wish I was a fuck? No one's ever said that. So why is he saying that here? It doesn't make sense to me. On top of that, I kind of wish that they had just said the word fuck, like, instead of bleeping it out. To me, that kind of bleeping it out, it honestly seems like a corporate, like, arbitrary, like, oh, we're the victims of censorship or some shit. Like, it's sort of arbitrarily labeling themselves as like, oh, we're so hardcore that we get censored. But like, I don't know. Think about how much cooler it would have been. They're saying like all around the world. Wish I had a fuck. Like, they got a big crowd to say it. Like, everyone around the world is saying it. Wouldn't that be so much cooler? Like, all around the world, I feel this shit. Wish I had a fuck. Wish I was a fuck. Wish I gave a fuck. But I don't. Like, wouldn't that have been kind of cooler? And again, I know that's nitpicky, but I'm like, the censoring is a little bit unnecessary, especially in 2026. It's like, look, this song is, quite frankly, this song is super, super tame compared to most of the music that we get nowadays. So like, why are we pretending like this would actually get censored in any realm, Wish I was a, wish I gave up. Yeah, and I mean, the fact that they say all around the world, it's like, get those people all around the world to sing it with you, I mean, that was even the verse, the closest we had to sort of a consistent thing in the verse was that idea of like, is there anybody else who doesn't give a fuck here? It's like, yeah, bring those people in, bring the audience in, on the song, not just live. But hey, whatever. That was their choice. But yeah, in general, I'm like, superficially, I think the chorus comes off as like catchy. The melody's catchy. They both sound good, but I'm like, I just don't see myself singing those words. It just seems weird. I would say like, I would have no problem saying, wish I had a fuck, wish I gave a fuck. Why would I say, wish I was a fuck? Like, what? Anyway. So yeah, didn't really make sense. And then on top of that, like kind of the cherry on top of this is that they just repeat the same thing for the second half of the chorus. Yeah. Yeah, just a straight repetition on all 3 choruses, actually. There's no lyrical variation. So when it comes to this chorus, I'm going to be honest with y'all. To me, it feels very insecure. It feels very unsure of itself. Like, okay, we got to make sure that we nail the nu metal vibe, right? So we got to like, we got to do the things that are right for nu metal. But like, the whole point of nu metal was that it was actually rebellious. Like, it was actually like, we're going to do things like when you think about, chocolate starfish and the hot dog water, like those are gross things. And the whole idea is like, yeah, we're gonna write stuff like that. It's super fucking gross that no one would ever do. It's like, you know, is that cool? I don't know, whatever. If you like Limp Bizkit, sure. But the truth is that it is absolutely like real anti-corporate like rebelliousness there. Like that is not what you would call an album that you want to be commercially successful. So it's like, that was real, you know, like in the 90s, the nu metal energy was real. Slipknot was real. So it's like here, it just feels like they're kind of trying to arbitrarily generate that energy. But then the, you know, repetition in the chorus, the lyrics kind of being weird to me and like wish I was a fuck. And then that unnecessary censor sound, like, I don't know, to me, it's more of like an accumulation of these little things, like Death by a Thousand Cuts type of deal, where I'm like, this comes off as very manufactured, super, super corporate to me. And that's like the exact opposite of what the song appears to be attempting to espouse, right? The song is about like, we don't give a fuck, but this sounds very heavily like they really gave a fuck and they were like really nervous and like, we gotta make sure that this song is a commercially successful, commercially viable product, you know. And it manufactures that nu metal energy. I don't know. I think initially there is like, oh yeah, this is cool, but when you think about it a little bit, it's like, once that shine wash, you know, once the, you know, new song sheen goes away, it's like, is this really as good as Break Stuff? Is this really as good as Rollin'? Like, no, not even close, man. So yeah, overall, I was kind of disappointed with this chorus. Womp womp. Yeah. So, but we jump from that chorus straight into the second verse.